Hey, you everybody, Espresso Sloth, and today I thought it'd be nice to go over some of my favorite Wii U titles. Now, yes, most of the good games from the Wii U era have been ported over to the Switch, but not all of them, and some of them play better on the Wii U than they do the Switch. So, with further ado, let's get on into it. First off, we have a game that when it was announced, I did not think I was going to like it. I didn't think it was going to work out. I thought it would be just a mess. And that game being Hyrule Warriors. This game went from being one that I didn't think was going to be very good to one that I've completed on Wii U, 3DS, and Nintendo Switch. It's also one of the very few games where we get to play as characters that aren't just Link, like Zelda, Impa, a badass Ganon with two swords, not like the one we have in Smash Brothers. If you haven't played this game, I suggest picking it up. Even the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is worth a pickup in my opinion. So moving on to the next game, we have Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Yes, it's one of the best platform games the Wii U had, and one of the best looking games. I know it's on the Switch, but still, it originated here on the Wii U. I had just gotten into Donkey Kong with Donkey Kong Country Returns, and I was ecstatic when this game finally released. I didn't care that it didn't use the tablet second screen feature. It was a solid game overall, and one I always enjoy going back to. Even though I have it on the Switch, I have yet to play it on there because I prefer the Wii U. Next, another game that came to the Switch, but started off as an arcade game before it made its way to the Wii U, is Pokken Tournament, a Pokemon fighting game that doesn't feature all fighting Pokemon, most of them just being Pikachu. But besides my complaint of the lack of having Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee, the classic iconic fighting Pokemon in it, it's a pretty solid fighting game. Even came with a free amiibo card that didn't do nothing for Shadow Mewtwo. Yes, I know it's on the Switch, but it just had such a charm on the Wii U. And taking my main, which I used Machamp through most of the game, was quite enjoyable. Again, if you can check it out in either the Switch or the Wii U, definitely pick it up. Now, a game that I think does better on the Wii U than it did on the Switch or PlayStation 4 due to that tablet shaped controller. We got the wonderful 101 by Platinum Games. It being. Now, I remember pre ordering this game back when it was Project 101 and waiting and waiting and waiting until finally it came out. And this game I did not put down until I finally beat it. It has a wonderful cast of characters. Wonderful. That it's like if they blended superheroes with Power Rangers and kind of Codename Kids Next Door all blended together like a Saturday morning cartoon. It's one game I kind of wish got a sequel on the Switch and not just a port. Hopefully we'll see more of this game in the future. And if you do get a chance, definitely pick this title up. And now a game I feel like people just like to diss on because they have grown up. That being Mario Party 10. Yes, is it the greatest game of all time? No. But can you still have fun with it? Yes. Now, I know people like to say that the Mario Party games have gotten worse as they've gone on. They're not as fun as the old ones used to be, yada yada. But to me, I don't think that's the case. I think it's just people have gotten older and they're just nostalgic for the old school Mario parties. And this game is targeted more towards that younger demographic of like 5 to 7 year olds who just want to have a fun little mini game collection. Just because you're not enjoying it doesn't mean that somebody else isn't going to enjoy it. Because I played this game with a few younger people at a party, and they were having a blast. They didn't care that like the mini games were shallow. They were having pure fun, and that's the point of these games, is to have fun. Now then, before we move into some of the big Nintendo titles that every one would be expecting, let's hit a couple third party games up real quick. Starting off with Sonic Lost World. I thought it was Sonic and the Lost World for a moment. It's just Sonic Lost World. This is actually a pretty solid Sonic game, besides a few control issues that I wish would have actually got a Switch port to fix. Instead, we got Sonic Forces. Yeah, this is probably like one of the only times I paid full price for a new Sonic release. Other than that, it's a decent game. Just needs Pro Controller support. But all in all, I actually enjoyed it, even though I am currently stuck on a level where you use the digging wisp to jump from ground platform to ground platform, and it seems my jumps are always mistimed. Looking at you, Sonic. But other than that, I say if you can find it for cheap, pick it up, especially if you're a Sonic fan. Next up, we got Tank Tank Tank, a Wii U launch title that I remember people were dogging on because the graphics didn't look so good and it just looked like a simple GameCube era game. And to be honest, it's a arcade port Namco put onto the Switch, or sorry, I mean Wii U. And I quite enjoyed it. It's just a simple game where you can kind of turn your brain off and just shoot. It's even got a mode where you can have somebody take control of the gamepad and be the monster while you and your other friends fight them as tanks. It even supports the Wii wheel. This is a launch title. Um, all overall, it's something I would definitely say check out if you get a chance. I definitely want to track down an arcade version of this if I ever can. I think that would be pretty awesome. And now the last third party game we have is also another launch title that many people overlooked, Zombie U. Now, Zombie U started off as a Wii U exclusive, and I remember people wanting it to come to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One before launch, before it got this huge criticism that it wasn't that good of a game. And I gotta say, it is a good game. It's a horror survival game, which I think a lot of people thought it was going to be more of a zombie shooter type game, such as Left 4 Dead and Call of Duty Zombies. But this one's you're going to be using your croquet bat, which doesn't break, to save yourself from the zombies, and they get harder as you go on because they're wearing armor. I remember one review was like, where does the infinite amount of survivors come from? Because every time you die, you respawn as a new survivor, and you can find your old self and get some of your stuff back. And it's a video game. Does it really matter where all these survivors are coming from? No. Is it enjoyable? Yes. I sometimes think people judge games based on what they think they're supposed to be and not how they are. And again, if you can find a copy of this, it is on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I would say pick it up, give it a try, show it some love. And then now we're going to be moving on into our last few games. Now, these are going to be my last 5 games that I personally like on the Wii U. And they are going to be in order of from least to most favorite, at least for these 5. I would like to give honorable mention to Splatoon, because I live out in the country, not the greatest internet connection, but when I was able to play it, it was pretty fun, but I can't really give it a solid, this was really fun, this wasn't really fun, because most of the fun came from its online experience. Even though it does have a nice single player, it just couldn't keep me hooked for too long. So with that ado, let's get into my 5th favorite Wii U title, being Star Fox Zero. Now, Star Fox Zero gets a bad rep for having complicated controls that are hard to master, and being another Star Fox Origin game. But once you get the hang of the controls, it actually does become a quite enjoyable game, and it does have replayability in branching paths that you can go through. I personally felt like a port to the Switch would have made it great, but this is one of the reasons to pick up the Wii U. And with it, you normally get Star Fox Guard. If people remember Nintendo showing off Project Guard, we get Star Fox Guard. It's okay for a free pack-in. But other than that, I did enjoy it, and I was hoping that this would be a reboot to the Star Fox series, and we'd be seeing more Star Fox games. But that has not came to fruition yet. Now, moving on to number 4, we have The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker HD. This was originally a game I did not plan on picking up because I have the original GameCube version, even though this is my favorite 3D Zelda title to this date. Now, I had no intention of picking this up due to the fact that I already had it on the GameCube and my GameCube was still hooked up. But I got bored one weekend and I needed something to play. And of course, my Walmart never had the new releases for Nintendo games stocked on release day. It normally took them about a week before they'd put them out. And I got lucky and GameStop had a copy in stock, an actual new copy, not already opened. So it gave me something to do that weekend, and I can say I 100% completed this game a second time, and I enjoyed it just as much as the first time. Now, I didn't include Twilight Princess on this list because I have not played the HD port of the game yet. I only played the Wii port of it, so I'm not going to include it. But maybe when I get some time, I'll pop it in and see how she runs. But let's move on to my third favorite Wii U game and probably one of your guys' favorite Switch games, Mario Kart 8. Now, what can I say about Mario Kart 8 that hasn't already been said before? It is one of the best games on Wii U and Switch, and one of the best Mario Kart games, period. Yes, the Wii U version battle mode sucked, but it made up for it with its wide variety of controls you can choose from, and it increasing to a 200cc, plus its DLC courses were amazing. The character roster wasn't the greatest, but all in all, it's a solid Mario Kart game that just kept getting better and better as the console went on. So let's move on to game number 2, a launch title of the Wii U as well, and probably a lot of people's least favorite game of this series. It's New Super Mario Bros. U. Now, I understand at this point, not a lot of people cared about the New Super Mario Bros. Series, seeing how this is the 4th game, and it looks like an HD upres of the Wii version. But I had a ton of fun with this game, especially with the Acorn power-up. Now, to me, this is my favorite of the New Super Mario Brothers games, followed by the first one on the DS. It was just solid Mario platforming fun for the whole family. But for some reason, the Switch port just feels a little off. And that's why I prefer it on the Wii U. And now let's move into my favorite game on the Wii U, Super Mario 3D World. Now, Super Mario 3D World is an excellent 3D Mario game, whatever you want to call it. It finally got ported over to the Switch a few years ago with an expansion, but Catsuit, Double Mushroom, or Double Cherry, this was just fun. Something different. We get Peach is back as a playable character. They play all different. I remember getting this game for Christmas and having to wait a week to play it because we did not have power. And once I finally got to pop this game in and play, oh boy, this was where all my free time was going. Again, love this game. 10 out of 10. Pick it up. Either Wii U or Switch. It's just a game that needs some love. And for an honorable mention, we got Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. Now, this is one of my favorite games on the console, but it's something I don't come back to very often because I feel like Ultimate does it better. Even though this game gave us the amiibo, it gave us a lot of new characters like Villager and Wii Fit Trainer. It just feels off in the classic adventure mode and the not so much of unlocking characters like the previous Smash Brothers does. But the 8-player battle is quite nice along with the Mii fighters. It just isn't my favorite Smash game, but it's still a solid pickup if you are into Smash Brothers. All right. Those were my favorite Wii U titles. I hope you enjoyed watching. Hopefully, it gave you some new perspective on some of these games. Maybe you'll go out and pick them up. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content coming.